everyone. Welcome to The Return with Josh and Maria Cribbs. I am Maria Cribbs.
And I am Josh Cribbs. Welcome to The Return.
Another beautiful day.
Yes.
Let me just start the show off. I don't want to be negative, but I just want to say this. Tuesdays in our household is trash day, right? And it's also the day we come here to film the show. And I will say, I be on CP time sometimes. I be running like.
Hold on, you gotta let people know what 10, CP time is.
Color people time. I be about, I'll be about 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes late, right? So I was gonna be late anyway today, but today I was super late because
I think Ryan already know when it's a time. Expect
Ryan knows the charges in my head, not my heart. Like, come on now.
Josh gonna maybe come in a little sooner or a little late, but Maria's gonna be on 15, 20.
It's out. Okay, so but the reason today though, I got a reason today though.
Hope it's a good enough
Some genius
reason.
that I live with decided to put the trash can right down in the middle of the end of the driveway. So as I'm backing out, and mind you, the truck that I back out in, it has those sensors and the cameras and everything, right? It didn't even alert me that I'm about to demolish our trash canister, which was the recyclables.
I'm glad it wasn't a car.
Knocked everything all down into the middle of the street, and we live on the incline. So then cans and trash is just rolling down the street.
When did that happen?
That's why I'm late. I'm trying to tell y'all why I was late.
That happened?
You can look on the ring cam. Yes, I was in the middle of the street.
Are you serious?
Josh, why?
The trash can was definitely not in the middle. How you think I got out with the Sprinter van? So that lets you know her story from jump is bogus, Ryan.
Wow.
And viewers,
what
bogus.
I noticed.
How did I get a Sprinter van out of our driveway, but she couldn't get an SUV out of the driveway?
Because he probably maneuvered around it. You know how you take your driver's ed and you got to maneuver around the cones?
A Sprinter van.
Yes.
You just got your CDL again for the second time in your life.
I got my
and
CDL.
you couldn't
Shout out to me.
an SUV around the recyclables?
Anyway, we're not even listening to Josh right now. What I noticed was as I was picking up all this trash in the middle of the street,
the truth ain't in
the neighbors, they don't put their trash cans in the driveway on the concrete.
They put them in the grass.
They put them on the top on the grass at the end of their lawn. So why don't you do that?
I don't want to mess my grass up. I put it right there where it needs to be.
And another thing, me and Josh always
argue.
You
don't need to go down the middle of the. We got 2 lanes.
I just back straight out. I don't expect any. So if you walking behind me with if you on the sidewalk,
a car right there. You not looking.
And this is what I'm going to say now. I want to say this point too.
And it's a backup camera.
Josh and I always argue about he relies on the backup cameras and the sensors to back up and maneuver the vehicle. I'm like, you can't count on that stuff because
why can't you?
Because today it did not go off at all.
So Ryan, if you losing your backup camera and you saying you can't rely on it, what is somebody gonna hack into it and show you and show you a different live video? No, I see everything that the camera see, and I use my mirrors in conjunction with the actual footage.
Why did it not start beeping as I'm coming onto the trash can?
So was you not looking in your mirrors? Exactly. Case settled.
The mirrors are
the
mirrors are on the side. And this is the thing. You don't expect somebody to be directly behind your driveway. I didn't expect it to be in the smack dag in the middle of the driveway. And why did the sensors not go off? I feel like we got a class action lawsuit on the way.
I'm going to put up the footage of the ring cam and where it was. And we're going to show what's in the middle.
You can probably look at that on commercial.
How did it get in the middle if I came
So anyway, if you're living with somebody, just make sure you put your trash cans off to the side because you might run into them and be late to the show. So.
In other news, Cavs,
Woo!
They tore into the Miami Heat.
Let's go, baby.
Sweep. 135. Hold on, what was it? 138 to 83.
They still letting them know, baby.
55-point margin. It was as if
crazy.
They didn't even try this time coming out. See, the Cavs.
That's like that margin.
That's
like the margin Belichick got with his girlfriend.
That's going to be later on in the show.
That's a huge margin.
55 years. Yeah. And
I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that, you guys.
She don't want to let nobody know about how did you guys
on to the Cavs. Right.
But the Cavs they just demolished the Heat. They couldn't even have like a 3-0 comeback like the Cavs had against the Warriors, when LeBron was here. It was just as if they just lost hope. They were down early. It was like 40-something to 17. And I was like, oh, this is not a game.
It was a total bloodbath. Every single game in that series was. I mean, the numbers were historic for the Cavaliers. Mentioned the 55-point win. That was the Miami Heat's worst playoff loss in franchise history. And Game 3 was also the Miami Heat's worst playoff game loss in franchise history. So they did it back-to-back. They gave him 2 horrible records back-to-back, which is just insane. The Cavs were lights out from 3, which was awesome to see. And they didn't
even have Garland.
Yeah, and Garland wasn't there for either of the road games. and now you get a little bit of rest because the Pacers and Bucks going to go at least 5 games, so it'll give the Cavs some much needed rest before we go into round 2.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's good to have Garland back out there. But the Cavs defense, man, the defense I think is the most underrated. Even though everybody knows about defense, we don't really think about defense. A team being that defensively stronger than another team, that they only had 17 points to their 40, and they're scoring on offense too. Mobley is so underrated in the league. I know he defensive player of the year, right?
Yeah,
and rightfully so. He gets so far above the rim. People be going up trying to dunk it, Maria, two hands.
Yeah,
and he's putting his hand in the middle of and blocking
it all up in the way.
And now because of the replay camera, the Cavs have been able to get a lot of like hand on ball without fouling. And that ref will call a foul, Cavs be like, run it back. And they've been winning these replays.
When it comes to, I'm glad you said something about defense, because when Izzy used to play basketball, remember he was younger?
Right.
And I probably just my mind. I'm always looking at the
was on point.
And so Ryan, I'm always looking at the person who's scoring the points. Like, yeah, they doing their thing. And Izzy, I'm like, why you ain't scoring no points? And they're like, have you seen his, like, he's deep, like, you see his defense?
He had like 20 steals.
He had like 100 assists, though.
And look, he'll steal the ball, and somebody else would be already down the court and throw it down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we'll not make fun of him.
We call him assist king.
Yeah, we'll urge him to score more points by saying, okay, with number 1, starting at 2-point guard with 1,000 assists on record, 20 points.
But the fact that
just to motivate him to score, we highlight the assist.
But the fact that you just said how important defense is, I understand now. Like, it's all a part of the game.
It's a team.
Yeah,
it's a team sport.
You see that emotional hug that Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love had after the game?
Yeah, I seen it. I think that was before. Was that before?
Was that before? I thought it was afterwards.
I'm not sure.
I think it was when
they said Kevin Love's father passed away the night before, the day before.
I think it was doing warm-ups or something. But I did see clips of that. I think it was amazing. They were champions together here in Cleveland.
Yep.
And it was good to see.
That warm embrace. Because men need hugs sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Men need hugs. Men, they need love.
And we got to talk about the Cavs. We're going to go to, the Browns in the draft and all everything that went along with it. Don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Pure AV, luxury home automation. Experience your dream smart home by visiting pureavcorp.com.
Welcome back to The Return with Josh and Maria Cribbs. Now, this segment right here is brought to you by our friends over at Pure AV. Now, Pure AV specializes in sales, service, and installation of a variety of smart home technologies. They do it all. They can help you get the perfect sports watching setup with their high-performance audio and video displays. Now, they even offer hidden audio and video options that allow you to keep a clean, elegant interior without sacrificing your favorite technology. Now, Pure AV can set you up with invisible architectural speakers that are hidden in your walls and ceilings, as well as disappearing TVs that vanish behind art or mirrors. Visit pureavcorp.com today to see everything they offer for your home. Now, we went out to Pure AV on location.
Right. We were out
draft night.
Right.
When I tell you they had everything, it was so slick in there.
It was like what I want my basement to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I think they set their offices up like a model.
You had to.
To show people, what you can
what
get.
they can do.
Yeah,
in
their living rooms and their homes and their, personal spaces.
You saw Ryan. People didn't want to leave. They was like, no, we could just.
It was home.
We come in tomorrow and watch the draft too, because that was Thursday night, wasn't
drinks
it?
and everything. It was like a little club in there.
Right.
The Pure AV club. I think they're gonna have to get a liquor license in a little bit.
They did. They had it fully stocked. That's only if you charge though.
Right.
Yeah. So the draft.
Let's just hop right into it. The ultimate reason you think, and I don't want to have a monologue, but I'm gonna take a second and dissect this. The ultimate reason you think Shedeur Sanders slid so far in the draft, well, it's very complex. I will say this.
It ain't complex to me.
Before I go into my monologue, Maria, I
sorry.
will say this, Ryan. I feel as if somebody in upper management, depending on in any team, has any relationship with Deion, should have, in my opinion, reached out to say, hey, we don't have him high on our draft board, just to let you know. And I think you should check with other teams to see where they have him. And you know what I'm saying? Just a heads up. And to me, that's kind of courtesy. If I'm coming into the league, my son is coming into the league, and I think Deion Sanders represented and represents the NFL, the greatness of the NFL.
Facts.
All of the illustrious, dancing and talking and, entertainment of what the league represents, I think Deion Sanders and his family represents the league very well.
Facts, they do.
It makes the league so exciting, so much so that now he's at the collegiate level and makes the collegiate, love it or hate it, Ryan Maria, makes it so entertaining and excited, brings so much excitement around the sport that it's like, you can't love it or hate it.
They got me watching Colorado football.
Exactly, right? And we have no tie to Colorado.
Who would've knew?
Right? So I say that
I never even been in Colorado.
I say that to say, Maria and Ryan, that I felt like, in retrospect, I think somebody should have reached out to say, hey, we don't have him high. Honestly, and just say, we don't have him high on our draft board. I don't know what's happening. I think he had, even when these reports were happening, if they were happening with multiple teams, I think, say I was a scout and I knew Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur, had a bad meeting.
Yeah.
I'm going to call his daddy. I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? Oh, man, it's Chris, man. Yeah, man, we over here just chopping it up. Hey, you got a second real quick? Yeah. Yeah, man, your son, man, we ain't like his interview. Bro, yeah, man, I just think that
if it's true.
He
did X, Y, and Z, and
that's not a good look.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, man, this not what your daddy did. He was, his play on the field said it all, and then he talked on the field, and some may disagree with me because Prime when in his playing career he talked a lot, but he backed it up. Hold on, I don't want you to hold on. Yeah. But I'm just no courtesy call. That's disrespectful to me. I'm like, God, y'all couldn't reach out to Prime, to Coach Deion Sanders, and just give him a heads up, like, hey. So that's what. I'm taking a different perspective, Ryan and Maria, on the standpoint of the NFL, the shield, that these staff members who were close to Deion have, good relationships with him and his family, couldn't just say, hey, we didn't have him high, in XYZ. He need to do this, and I think he'd be good. The reason I think he slid, whether they had him high or not, I've been in rooms in the draft room with the Browns in 2018. I had to recruit. I had to gather and evaluate players. We came across so many players, Ryan and Maria, with domestic violence issues, drug cases, getting arrested, problems with their grades, problems with their homes. I mean, so much so that it was red flags galore. And every single time, the only reason we were still questioning whether we should take him or not was because this player was such a dynamic figure on the field. The on-the-field productivity breeded so much leniency. He learned his lesson. He gonna say no to drugs. He learned his lesson. He's helping out women all over now and starting a community. He learned his lesson. We're gonna just overlook his 2.1 or his 1.2 GPA. Productivity, if you think a guy can change your program,
right?
It don't matter what he did, you want to get him. Deshaun Watson. Should I say any more? We got him here. So if it was problems, because everybody like to point to, he had these bad, he came in
Interview.
So cocky.
What you're saying is Shedeur didn't have any of those red flags.
What I'm saying is,
what are you saying?
I don't believe the hype about how he had these negative interviews and he wasn't prepared.
Oh, because you're saying players that have had all these red flags.
All these red flags.
And probably would have killed their interview.
Exactly.
Would have still gotten by.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah.
And
I understand what you're saying.
For me, regardless if he wasn't on a lot of people's draft board, I think it was preposterous for him to still be on the board day 3. Maybe get past the first round and then we talk about it for a couple days or so because he went in the second or third. But I thought it was preposterous for him to still be around on the third day. I mean, preposterous.
That was crazy.
What do you think, Ryan, about this?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. We haven't really seen a slide that severe in the NFL maybe ever, certainly in my lifetime. I mean, I think about guys like Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers. They slid, but nowhere near to the third day that we saw Shedeur Sanders slide. I mean, nobody in the world had a guy like Dylan Gabriel, the Browns taking him over Shedeur Sanders. I think it was a culmination of things. I mean, really. I mean, everything that you said plus. I guess teams certainly liked Shedeur. They weren't in love with him. You know, a lot of the teams are looking for their quarterbacks, the guy that they draft and can plug in hopefully right away within or by the end of their first season is obviously the Titans. They got Cam Ward. The Giants traded up. They'd like Jackson Dart more than Shedeur Sanders. The Saints ultimately went with Tyler Shuck.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. The
Saints went with Tyler Shuck, which was a bit surprising. And I guess
even in the Saints offense, and I don't mean to cut you off, you said this early on about Stefanski's offense. I thought Shedeur fit perfectly. His throwing the dig routes and just attention to detail on what the defense was doing. I saw a pro on the field.
I mean, a lot of people did. I mean, Mel Kiper, he talked about the whole broadcast. He had him as his number 1 quarterback in the class, like top 4 prospect in the whole entire thing, above Cam Ward. Like, I was shocked, and I'm glad the Browns got him. Obviously, I mean, you guys know me. I was hype. I wanted Shedeur here. I
appreciate the Browns for that.
To be early.
Right. I appreciate the Browns for that.
We all did, Ryan.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we got him here, and it's great. It's just, crazy circumstances. I guess no team was that in love with Shedeur, and if you're not that in love with Shedeur, then you look at maybe some of the outside possible influences of Deion, comes with the last name, a guy who's not scared of the spotlight.
A guy that's going to be coaching the Colorado Buffaloes all season.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
obviously wasn't a concern for me. I'm glad he's here.
I just, for me, it's just, again, the word is preposterous. Like, I'm glad the Browns took him. They didn't have to.
I got some words, but I can't say them right here on this network right here. I got some words.
For me, and we're going to have this conversation again, we're going to have a quick commercial break. But for me, for him to slide so far, I appreciate the Browns taking him because I felt, and we're going to talk about this more, the Browns had no
appreciate
inkling.
It, but what took y'all so long? What took y'all so long?
I feel like they wasn't going to take him. They didn't need Shedeur.
Mary Kay Cabot came here and said either Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders.
Mary Kay Cabot repeated what Deion said.
Right.
And he said that in her interview.
So I wonder what led him to say that to her. What did when they left that pro day, what conversations were had to make Deion Sanders feel like?
The same thing that all scouts and everybody say to every prospect. They said it to me. Like, hey, I remember
they be lying in your face like that?
The Commanders, then the Redskins
lied in your face,
called me in the 4th round and was like, hey, the next round, you know, you ran a 4-4 for the pro day. We just want and look, just to find out, they just want you to be a priority free agent. And to be a camp body and to come into camp to make it seem like they had you so high. They'll tell you everything. Anything
lies.
in the world. They'll just say it just to keep you interested or just to feed you.
But I feel like you said, when you made mention to Deion Sanders was not just some fly-by-night NFL player. He was the guy. He still is the guy. Still doing big things.
I felt it was a little disrespectful not to alert.
Just give him
my heads up.
You don't have to sit there lying Coach Prime's face.
We're going to keep the conversation going. We're going to take a commercial break.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, the lowest pricing, and same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com today.
Welcome back to The Return with Josh and Maria Cribbs. Now, we're still talking draft day.
Yeah. And I just have to, continue with it a little bit. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I just like to point to the facts and point to, what seems to be most obvious. One thing that was also obvious that I didn't realize, the viewership stayed high and grew as the draft went, as opposed to the opposite. So usually during the draft, Maria, the viewership tanks down after the first day. The second round, really everybody, and then after the third round, viewership steadily drops on the second day.
Right.
Hardly no one is watching on the third day.
Absolutely not.
Guess how many eyes was on it? Millions. All the way through the whole entire draft, waiting for Shedeur. So those, I'm not, I know conspiracy theorists will pick up on that, but the viewership on the third day was still strong. But is that
not reason enough alone? I know before the break we talked about, when it comes time to, interview with some of these teams. I think you might have, you sat down with a psychologist, right?
Right.
It was like evaluation.
Yeah, you sit down with a ton of people.
Yeah, so you got your red flags, and then maybe when they go into having in the QB room, seeing what your knowledge is, testing your knowledge. How much of a factor is your star power, though? Because now I feel some kind of way. It's like I'm sure I wanted Shedeur to come here. I wanted Shedeur to come here, but I didn't because I felt like we might sabotage his career. The Browns have a lot of work to do, right? They're getting there. They always seem like they're getting there, but they never get there. So part of me was like, okay, we got Shedeur, but now I'm like, y'all about to profit off of everything that my name is bringing out because the whole, and I'll just speak, I don't speak for Black America, but I feel like all of Black America is behind Shedeur Sanders because of what we witnessed.
Right.
So now you got people that's going to be supporting him. You're going to be watching the Browns.
What's the
You're going to
same
be
people
buying
that
his
supported him in
jerseys.
Colorado too?
No, it's more because we sat back over
because
draft,
everybody
we
couldn't.
sat back over draft weekend and saw what
Right.
was done, and to us it just rings a particular way to our community, right? So now you got the sales, his jersey sales are, you said it's top 3 now.
Yeah.
And now I feel like dang, somebody else get the profit
Already
off of
though,
that now.
Ryan.
So I feel like
already.
that in itself is enough to take that man in the first
It's
round.
not. It's
On
not.
top of him being
not.
a top QB, Josh.
Right.
Some team could have taken him in the first round.
No.
Yes, they could have.
Oh, I'm not saying that he's not first round talent. I'm just saying it's not going to be based off of jersey sales
I'm not saying
or
it's
popularity.
but I'm not saying based off of jersey sales
You're
or
right.
popularity. I'm just saying that matters as well.
So-
if you're willing to let go of some red flags that some people have had off the field issues, have come from problematic households, maybe have a little mental
Then you can deal with
situation
some
going on.
cockiness
Then you
in
can
your
deal with
perception.
it's not cockiness. You're
No,
confident.
in their
you want your
perception.
QB to be confident.
I'm saying in their
and a leader.
What I'm
and
saying
assertive,
is in their perception.
and sure of himself. It's not. Why is it cockiness when it's someone of our
Again, it's in their perception. So people will take cockiness and confuse it with confidence. Because we didn't feel that way as it related to Baker Mayfield. We didn't feel that way as it related to Johnny Manziel. We didn't feel that way as it related to guys in the league of similar, stature coming in, doing this, the Money Manziel.
But they not like us. So why when we do it, it's cockiness, it's
But
arrogance, or he's acting like his dad.
I really feel that
A
a
QB
lot of
should
people
be one
who-
thing, and that is very certain of themselves, very
Right.
assertive.
So
they
let
have to
me-
be a leader of a team. He should have all that. I just hate this. I said I wasn't gonna talk about this, didn't I?
Right.
It just ticked me off what I witnessed, what I saw. But go ahead,
I
Josh.
think
I'm
it
sorry.
ticked everybody off. I did it.
I don't think it ticked everybody off because everybody didn't see it the way we saw it. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Yeah,
Go
I thought
ahead.
I think it ticked a lot of people off because I was at an event with the Shine Brothers at a church and with Danita Harris, and that's all what they were talking. As soon as I walked in, what's going? And this was the second day. No, this was the third day. This was Saturday, and they were just like, not even talking about the event, Ryan. They was like, "What's
Everybody
my
was
man Shedeur? What?" And that's all it was. I had to add the football aspect, the management, staff aspect onto it though. When fans need to understand, however, you have to see things through a different lens. If I'm Kansas City and it's my pick, I got Patrick Mahomes, I don't need a quarterback. I need a running back. I'm not gonna take Shedeur. So you got to think of that lens. If I'm Buffalo, I got Josh Allen. I don't have an offensive guard. I need a guard. I see Shedeur there. I need this guard. I got Josh Allen. Team sees Shedeur as a starter. If you got your premier starter, you don't draft Shedeur Sanders as a backup. So everyone who needed a quarterback, the problem that people who understood football and understood how this thing works, the problem is we saw teams who needed a quarterback, a starter.
That's what
go
I'm
past,
saying.
go past.
That's what
and it was
I'm
only
saying.
a few teams, Maria. It was the Saints, the Browns.
The Browns.
Who else, Ryan?
Several times over the Browns
needed a
passed
quarterback.
over him.
Right. And when that happened, that let me know that
Something's up.
no. That
Oh.
let me know. Let me speak. That let me know that the Browns had no intentions on taking Shedeur Sanders in this draft. No intentions.
Well,
so that further brings my question to this. Ryan, who do you think selected Shedeur Sanders? Was it Andrew Berry like it's supposed to, or was it Jimmy Haslam?
Oh, God. I mean, that's probably a fantastic question that I don't know the answer to. I mean, listen, Gabriel was the guy, the clear one that they said, this is my guy in the quarterback draft class. They took him a little bit earlier than his grade was. I don't think anybody had him as a day 3. Obviously, nobody had him above Shedeur, so I got to imagine that was a pick that Kevin Stefanski was fine with. It was a pick that Andrew Berry identified was good, and it was ultimately a pick that Haslam said, listen, if you guys can make this work, I'm fine with taking him if you believe he's your guy. Now, it does seem like Sanders, yes, pre-draft, they went into it probably not thinking they were going to get him. It was a value pick. They saw him slip, so they trade up to get him. I would imagine that was an Andrew Berry pick. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I would like to think it's a culmination of all of their opinions, because I think if it's not going to work for Stefanski, but Andrew Berry thinks he's a great prospect, well, it's probably not going to work out, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know whose pick it was, but I was just so interesting. You go get your guy in Dylan Gabriel, and then you have enough conviction to go trade up to get Shedeur Sanders.
And I'm going to say it's an Andrew Berry pick. Only because of this. In the press conference, never mind the photo of them looking sick like they all just got in trouble or reprimanded. And they said, they all came out and said, it was the delay. The camera was showing at a different time. Andrew was like, it's a long draft. They're kind of tired. Regardless of that, there's value in taking and having these quarterbacks. So they'll battle it out in training camp. However, now you have the opportunity, Ryan, for trade bait during preseason. If you got your guy or your backup in Dylan or Shedeur, Kenny Pickett, whoever, everybody else can furthermore be value maybe for a guy or draft picks for next season. More draft picks, more capital for next season. The value of Shedeur Sanders in number 5 in the 5th round to potentially trade is higher than a random 5th round draft pick who will be on the practice squad, who probably wouldn't make the team, in my opinion. That's what Andrew Berry spoke to when he took him. To have a Shedeur Sanders still on the board in the 5th round, he probably lit up like, hey, we need the value for this. This is value. He didn't say talent. He said value.
But if they took
Shedeur Sanders had value.
They took Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders.
Which a lot of people disagree with.
Absolutely. I would say I disagree.
But there's going to be a quarterback battle.
Then that does lead me to further believe they had no intentions of bringing Shedeur in because why would he have not been his pick? Yeah.
We felt like they had no intentions. They had the intentions to bring Travis. I think if they couldn't trade, if they didn't, the Jaguars didn't trade up to get Travis Hunter, I think they would have ended up getting Travis Hunter. So that would have been that one of the two would have been there, scenario. However, the draft wasn't that bad. I'm gonna tell my grandchildren, we got Shedeur Sanders at number 2 at the 2nd round, number 33. I'm gonna tell them, it went Matt Graham and then Shedeur Sanders. If you look at our lineup, just randomly, right? Yeah. Like before the year, if you knew we was gonna have these guys, right, what would the order be? Yeah. Right, Mason Graham.
I call both of y'all out because
Shedeur
all season
Sanders.
long we've been talking about what was going to happen at the draft, who we could possibly get as QB. Not one of y'all picked Dylan Gabriel.
We still didn't.
Where did he come from, Ryan? Where did he come from?
We still didn't.
Where did he come from, Ryan?
He was always going to be a draft pick. He was always going to be a draft day selection,
right?
And they got him late. Like the 3rd round is late. It's probably a little bit earlier than most people had Dylan Gabriel, but there's the same range 2 picks later than like Jalen Milroe went. A lot of people had Jalen Milroe going earlier than that, so they both like went the opposite ways and met more towards the middle. Yeah, it was a pick that came out of nowhere, but like we didn't expect to draft Dylan Gabriel. Nobody knew that they were fond of him, I guess. But
so why take him over Shedeur?
Because they like him more. That's just as simple as it is.
But then if we start talking about the whole business aspect of the NFL,
that's not his job.
That's
not his job.
It's a business,
right? That's not his job. I know you saying.
What is Dylan Gabriel's jersey sales right now? It's a business.
It's just not his job.
But it's a business, though.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
That's probably why they took Shedeur Sanders. Value.
Don't take me. Leave me
Shedeur has value. What you mean?
I want to go to a team that want me.
You know what? Deion Sanders. I'm going to bring it up real quick.
Y'all, hold on. We got to go to commercial, Josh. You going to talk about when we get back?
I want to read what Deion Sanders said when we come back.
When we get back. Don't go anywhere, you guys.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Garage Beer. No bitterness, no frills, no IPA, just beer-flavored beer. Find local retailers who sell garage beer near you by visiting drinkgaragebeer.com.
All right, now you guys, welcome back to The Return with Josh Maria Cribbs. Josh and I are here. Josh and Ryan and I are still here talking about the draft day. I don't even know. I can't even call it a spectacle. I don't even know what to call it. That was just...
So I love how their family, Sanders family, is taking it. He was drafted late.
They stated they were in good spirits.
And this is the message that Deion said. He understands the turmoil that people feel and the commentary that everybody's like, even myself included, preposterous. He said, let it go. Let it go. Twice he says it. Then let it go a 3rd time. It doesn't matter what they think, what they say, or what they feel. God has the final say. You stay prayed up, stay focused, and keep your peace. And watch God do what he does. Open up windows, doors, and create opportunities for you. That's what Deion says.
I don't want to let it go just yet.
He's not saying like, oh, conspiracy, they did me wrong. He's not saying that. He
right, as he shouldn't.
And a man that's putting out that,
but he could.
Those type of quotes.
He could have.
Why are they labeling him as difficult, or the reason why Shedeur didn't possibly get selected so high?
What dad would have said it? LeVar Ball. He'd have been like, man, they coming for me, man. This is crazy.
I don't agree with people.
Deion Sanders knows. And they stand prayed up. And even when they took him 5th overall, he still celebrated high, jump in the pool, and still has these high spirits, and he going about it the right way. Just how his public persona just leads me to believe these NFL execs who had bad experiences need to just come on record and say, you know what? I was surprised that he didn't come prepared, or I was surprised. I was surprised that he did this and said that. They should come out and say it. And say good things first before they do the bad. Why not? Come out.
That they ever had bad experiences with Coach Prime.
No, not Coach Prime. I'm talking about Shedeur.
Confidence makes him feel some kind of way.
I am talking about Shedeur. Like if they saying that he had these bad meetings,
I ain't hear that part.
If they saying this, Ryan, about him, come out and say it. You can say it respectfully, professionally. Like, you know what? I expected him to know certain things, and you know what? He's just not there yet, and we passed on him to do this and that. He has a ton of talent. I know he's going to be.
Hold on for a second. Crap.
I know he's going to be great in this league. There's a way to say a guy ain't it without, putting him on blast.
That's some cockamamie stuff.
I feel like it's cowardice not to do that. And then what happened?
They need to look at when they look at Shedeur Sanders. This young man is gonna make me a crap load of money. On top of him being talented. Let's keep it real. This is the NFL. This kid's gonna make me a boatload of money.
I want to get a crap load of wins.
His father is a God-fearing ex-NFL player
who knows
how to market, who changes programs,
That's what I want you to
who's
do.
gonna make sure that his son stays in line and knows the game to the fullest.
Correct.
Why would you not take him first round?
Why would you
not want him to be
I want
a
crap load of wins.
The world is behind this kid.
He's not a kid.
Anyone that has him on his team, they're gaining an asset.
All right, let's move it.
Sucks to me that he got taken so late.
Yeah.
And that cost him millions of dollars.
Right.
How much would he have made if he would have went first round?
$40 million. Between 38 and 40 million. Now it's down to about 4 million. 2 to 4 million as a 5th round.
I know
pick.
you lying.
Yeah.
So now you understand what
I definitely understand. Ryan.
They playing with my pocket. I mean his pockets.
It's a quarterback battle.
Yes.
Week 1, who you think is our starter?
You switch the schedule? You switch the topic?
Nah, we still talking quarterbacks. We still talking Shedeur. Week 1.
I would imagine it's Joe Flacco unless Kenny Pickett comes out and really wins the quarterback competition. I mean, you brought
a lot of people been saying Kenny Pickett.
I mean, it's very possible. Like, you didn't guarantee Joe Flacco a lot of money. Like, yes, he comes here thinking he probably does have the best chance to start. I mean, like, it's the odds of it being Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel. I'm not sure you draft a rookie that late and start in week 1. That'd be very shocking.
Right.
So I'd say it's between Joe and Kenny, and I'd say right now Joe has the inside track. But if you were to tell me come week 1, Kenny Pickett opened up the eyes of Kevin Stefanski and a lot of people on offense, and he's your week 1 starter, I wouldn't be shocked because one of those quarterbacks is going to be gone.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be Kenny Pickett. Well, not that I don't think it's going to be Kenny Pickett. I have a problem with that. That's all. If he shocks us, he shocks us. I only care about the wins in the fall. I feel like one of these quarterbacks, they won't cut these quarterbacks. All these quarterbacks have value. I think it's going to be some trades. By time week 1 comes, Maria, training camp, there will be teams that thought they had something in the other quarterbacks, and then they're going to look up and, oh, my gosh, we need a guy. We need a quarterback. Or they need a backup. And these quarterbacks, either Gabriel, either Shedeur, or Kenny Pickett, heck, all our quarterbacks will be able to be dished because it was obvious that the quarterback for the Browns is not in this draft.
Hold on.
That the future for this team was not in this draft.
If they're already selling his jerseys.
He's a Cleveland Brown uniform for right now, and that's all that matters. So, whether he, plays a game or not, he step on that practice field, he's a Cleveland Brown. And that's how we go as such. What happens beyond that, meetings on the field, time will tell with that. But week 1, I don't think Flacco, it's rumors that Flacco would possibly get traded to another team. I think Flacco is our stopgap. He is the guy who, if anything, we got Flacco. I think he's a safety net for this team. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think everybody else is on the trade block, as it seems. So what do
Flacco start?
I think he can possibly start. I think he's the safer pick.
Yeah.
And then you let these other guys develop and see what we got. If Flacco is starting, I think they're getting rid of Kenny Pickett. Okay. I think if Flacco is starting, then we're getting ready, Gabriel or Shedeur ready. If Kenny Pickett doesn't win the job and Flacco is starting, Kenny Pickett's probably getting traded.
All right, and with that being said, we want to talk about the prank call during draft night. So don't go anywhere, you guys. We'll be right back.
The Big Play Sports Network is brought to you by Infinity. Luxury experiences for those who dare to be different. Visit infinityofbeechwood.com today.
Welcome back to The Return with Josh and Maria Cribbs. Now, we are still discussing all things draft day, draft night, draft weekend. And we got to talk about that prank call that took place. Josh, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are this. I think because the eyes of the nation were on, the football nation were on Shedeur and where he would go and how he would get drafted, what round, what pick. I think that's what made the prank, very classless, right? Ryan, Maria, my teammates prank called me in high school and act like they was a college scout.
That's crazy.
And they fooled me for about 15 seconds, which is a really long time on the phone to be pranked.
Like,
it was multiple people on the phone, and they were laughing at me. They was like, well, this is goddamn Bobby Bowden, Florida State, FSU, and my friend with the impressions, Ryan, he did such a good job. I'm like, yeah, this is the call I've been waiting for. How you doing, coach? Yes, sir. And they knew I was falling for it because of how I was responding. And they had all their words together and was just saying, well, you come right in, we're going to have to put you to work. Maybe some things you're not used to being in a small city in D.C., but we're going to get you down here. You want to let you show out, let you do your thing. I mean, it was almost perfect. And I was just lighting up. It was feeling like I was about to be drafted. So once they all started laughing on the phone, I started laughing too. I was mad, but I'm like, y'all got me. Like, who else we gonna get? And this is in high school. Mm-hmm. It meant a lot for us to get selected Division I in high school. We would go to our coach's office, return the envelopes to all the schools to try to even put ourselves on their radar, send off our VHS tapes to get recruited. We were top high school in Washington, D.C.
Right.
So at this level, in order to stop pranks, they send out phones. Right. They have specific numbers to eliminate this. So we already knew. That's why Shedeur in his video was saying, man, this is a new phone. Nobody ain't got this number. Only NFL people. Mm-hmm. So he was basically confused. Like, you telling me somebody in the NFL pranked me? And it was somebody in the NFL's children.
What was it? The coordinator, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons?
It was Jeff Ulbrich's. He's the defensive coordinator for the Falcons. It was his son, Jax.
His son, Jax, who's in college?
Yeah, it's 21.
He plays football himself.
Supposedly, he discovered the phone number on an open iPad, which I'm assuming was his father's. Wrote the number down, and then later
he did that for several numbers because that wasn't the only person they called. But his friend from the video, Jax, he was on the side laughing like, oh my God, it's crazy, it's real. He let his friend do it. And you can see it in the video, his friend prank calling him, which in all reality,
it's just so corny, so stupid.
It's corny, but it
sounds
was
like
funny.
Something some 20-year-olds would do.
It was funny if it wasn't Shedeur Sanders.
But then it came, okay, I think my thing.
If it wasn't televised.
At first I was like, so why Shedeur? Why did you pick Shedeur? But it did come out that they did prank multiple students.
Many people.
Not students, prospects. I just feel like, why does the defensive coordinator have the numbers? You're not going to be in that draft. Was he in the draft room?
Yeah,
Are they in the draft room?
Yeah, the coordinator. Yeah. Definitely.
So they all make those decisions.
Yeah. They all assist.
I just feel like maybe
they're assisting.
The protocol might need to change to where not just anybody gets those numbers.
That number probably won't never make it home to these guys.
Yeah, it probably won't need to make it home. I think I'm looking at it like that was corny, it was tasteless, it was tacky. But where does your conscience come in? I can see your friends pranking you. You're your friends
at this level.
Y'all don't. They're this group of kids. They don't know Shedeur.
Right.
Where does it come in? Like, man, my dad could probably get fired for this.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like, where does your conscience? It was alarming to me that you didn't have your subconscious, like your conscious. My conscious way on me, like my dad might get fired. Right. This might make my family look bad. Then you had the audacity to record it. Like, that was just like, come on. But I understand kids being kids.
Yeah,
it
man.
sucked to see it. I
That's the
definitely
only
think
reason
it took away from Shedeur's moment. Though.
It
I was
definitely
like,
did.
dang.
It was like, dang. Because again, the football world was watching and
a bunch
waiting.
of idiots. A bunch of
and
idiots.
he was right there with the phone. And it just ended up being, it's not so funny.
I would have beat my... Anyway.
You gotta get that belt out.
We gotta talk about
man.
girlfriends shutting down. 23-year-old girlfriends shutting down interviews.
These young girls.
We're gonna discuss that. Don't go anywhere when we get back.
Lord have mercy.
Welcome back to The Return with Josh Maria Cribbs. Now, would y'all say, because you know President Trump is taking credit possibly for him getting Shedeur Sanders drafted. Y'all think that tweet had anything to do with it? And first of all, I'll just say, I thought it was fake. Was that fake or that was real?
No, I'm assuming it was real.
Nah, he did tweet.
That sounds like something.
I went to go try to look at the tweet and it was gone.
But he didn't have anything to do.
Think that had any effect on the NFL draft?
Definitely not.
Ludicrous.
Definitely
like,
not.
oh my goodness. Okay, so did you see where Bill Belichick?
Yes.
He's a head coach now
The
down
Bill
in North Carolina
Belichick,
somewhere.
Yes, the interview.
The interview going viral of he was getting interviewed and his girlfriend, I think she's 24-year-old girlfriend. I think Bill Belichick is 70-something.
73.
73 years old. He has a 24-year-old girlfriend. He was conducting an interview.
So what's that?
And when the
49,
interviewer started
50
asking about the
years?
relationships, she shut it down.
Yeah.
Josh,
She said, nope, we're not going to do that.
could you imagine a 20-year-old telling you what you going to do?
70.
Yeah.
I would have been
It's
over
giving,
70.
it's giving caregiver. It's giving caregiver
So when
very
that
much
happened, I'm like, not Bill Belichick. When she said something to me, that was equivalent to a cell phone going off in a meeting. Like he was going to have somebody escort her out.
Why are you in the
Like,
room? Why are you in the room?
Did y'all hear something? Not that he has it on lock, but it seemed like, ooh, who wearing the pants in this relationship,
It was
Ryan?
suspect. It was very
Wow.
suspect.
We're not
I'll
gonna
say
do
that
that.
because the guy says, "Oh, where'd you guys meet?" And she immediately comes out and says, "We're not talking about that." Like jumped in the conversation. She's
Yes.
sitting down like the producer's table. Very weird, very strange. The dynamic in general is, but now you're clearly hiding something about how you guys met because there's no way you're just screaming that out because you didn't have a meet cute. No, something more is to this story. 100%.
And I feel like the interviewer, they be knowing. They be having the tea. They just want to see if you're going to take the bait. And she shut it right on down.
She's
But
a few years older than the players that he's coaching in college.
Yeah.
them players ain't got that Belichick check, though. The Belichick got the check.
She's out
Even
there on
when
the
it comes
field,
to like
too.
the whole Shannon Sharp, which
She's out there on the field, too.
It's weird, man.
I just think it's weird.
The youngness, how men are. I could see like
I just think it's
10
weird.
to 15 years, maybe 20. Okay, 20.
I see the post where they was like, he was already a senior
50 and a
citizen
30.
before she was even born.
Ryan, 50 and a 30
I
year
feel
old.
like me dating a 70-year-old woman.
Me
Yes.
dating a 90-year-old. Could you imagine me like, oh, my 90-year-old man's right here. Hey, daddy.
And
no.
that happened
Like,
with
what?
the
Josh.
playmate back in the day. Dating Hugh.
It's giving caregiver. But think about how when our kids try to tell us what to do.
Right.
Like, go on somewhere. What you 21 trying to tell me? I'm grown. Could you imagine a 20-something-year-old shutting down your interview and you're calling her your girl? It's just giving weird. It's just giving weird. It's giving
almost as
caregiver.
if-
it's giving she's only there for a check. She's waiting for you to croak so
It's
she can
giving
cash
Bill
in.
should have called security on
She
his
needs to
girlfriend.
not worry about the interview questions. Worry about whether he has you on the insurance policy for when he passes, you get paid, girl.
Hold up, Bill ain't that old.
He's
Bill
70.
was the same age as my parents.
What's the average lifespan of people nowadays, John?
Well, you know,
Your parents, they moving on up there too.
75.
They going to they headed towards glory too.
Glory, what the heck?
Everybody,
What?
they don't live forever,
I
Josh.
do tell my parents that. I say, y'all in the fourth quarter, man. Ain't no overtime. I be messing with them all the time.
Oh, we didn't get to talk about the Eagles and how some of them opted out. They had scheduling conflicts, so they couldn't take their round. You know how they,
Jalen,
you
yeah.
know how they go to
Well,
visit.
it's voluntary.
They
so-
tearing your boy Saquon Barkley up.
Hey, man. Once in a lifetime opportunity. I have.
You would go with President Trump to go golfing?
I didn't say that,
Oh,
man.
he
but
said I ain't saying nothing.
I'm in the middle, man. I'm in the
Ron,
middle.
we gotta go.
Yes.
How many seconds?
30.
30 seconds,
I'm
y'all.
in the middle of it, Maria. So I'm not really. I don't count.
They eating Saquon Barkley up, man. But let me just say this. We love y'all so much for watching. All players, I don't want to take away from their moment. Congratulations on being drafted in the first place. I know it's a dream come true.
Congratulations to the free agents.
Yeah.
You can make it. I'm a Hall of Fame nominee.
Yeah.
It's still hope for you guys.
Right, y'all gonna come out here and crush it because
Shedeur,
the ones that
make
getting
the- make
drafted,
the team,
don't
Shedeur.
believe the hype just because they got drafted. That ain't all that. That don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
Look, we love you guys. We'll see you next time on The Return with Josh Maria Cribbs. Bye.
We'll be right back.